we should mention this is not your own first time on the dish, which is that you came out on the dish.
I did. I did, yes.
Because I bugged you forever, telling you, nagging you should do this.
Did you?
And you, over the period of time.
Occasionally, yeah.
Occasionally I'd say, come on, Andrew. And you always said correctly, I'm out. You weren't lying to anybody, you weren't. But I was like, does that middle-aged lady in Kansas who watches you every night know? And if you did, I just thought, first of all, it'd be good for us.
Right, yeah.
But secondly, it'd be hugely good for you.
Yeah.
And
for me, at the time, what was so important to me was going places and going to places where people are in pain and touching and connecting with that. I wanted to be able to go to Afghanistan and all these places. And for a long time before I was at CNN, like, I didn't have security. I was going all by myself in places I should not have gone, and people I knew who were doing the exact kind of thing I was doing were, died doing it. There was a young man named Dan Eldon who I think he was 23 in Somalia, who was an amazing photographer just starting out in his career, and he was attacked and killed by a mob. The list is a long one, and I didn't want anything to limit my ability to like enter a room somewhere and just I had this whole idea about being a fly on the wall and just sort of being a mirror for people to project whatever they wanted to onto so I could tell their story. But then I realized over time, by not saying something, it felt like, because I made that argument, well, I'm completely open. I go out dancing, I go to a gay gym, I have a boyfriend, we're photographed on the street. Also, I resisted, having a public job, it comes with many benefits, but for somebody who it was wrestling with all these things internally, to be so public was a very strange thing, and I wanted a little modicum of privacy. And also, the person, people I were involved with were generally not out at their work, and so suddenly, if I was out, then it gave license to any magazine to publish photographs of these other people who were not out, and not out to their parents in some cases. And so, anyway, but I finally came to the understanding and realization that by not saying something, it sounds like I'm saying something. It sounds like I'm ashamed, or when in fact, I think being gay is like the greatest blessing of my life, or one of them. I've had many blessings, but I'm so thankful for it. And I so love being gay, and always have since I was 21, I finally was like, when I was a teenager, I was like, ugh, I really don't want to be gay. And, it's not, I looked around and it didn't seem like the easiest road. And then at 21 or so, or 20, I think I just got pissed. I was just like, why am I wasting time worrying about this? This is ridiculous. And I embraced it, and I've been very happy with it ever since.
We did it the right way. A simple Britain thing, and then you...
So I wrote a letter.
Fucking press conference.
I wrote a letter. I didn't want people to think I was trying to make a big deal. Like, I didn't want to be on the cover of People magazine, and I just want to write a letter. I want to explain myself, and actually, it was interesting because a couple of years later, Tim Cook reached out to me from Apple, and he said, I'd never met him before, but the ripple effects of these things is fascinating to me. And just as you writing in 1990 that article had a major impact on my life, Tim Cook reached out to me and said, "Hey, he asked to meet with me, and I met with him, and he said, I'm gay, and I'm thinking saying something, and I've looked at a lot of people who have made public statements, and I really liked the way you did it on Andrew's blog, and I'd love to just talk to you about it in the coming weeks." And so we just would meet occasionally and talk about it, and he ended up writing a letter to Business Week magazine.
Excellent.
Yeah, and I never spoke about it. I never told anybody I was meeting with Tim. I never publicly mentioned it. And a couple of years later, he mentioned it to some reporter, and I got a call from a reporter that day saying, "Hey, I understand you we're in communication with Tim Cook." And I was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he said, Tim Cook just gave an interview where he said, I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, that happened."